We find ourselves in an era where biodiversity loss, loss of habitat, loss of ecological functionality has reached a point where it's at the worst we've seen it in human history. On the other hand, we also find ourselves at a place in human history where we have technology and tools to be able to assess and reveal biodiversity at a rate that we've also never seen before. And that's where our laboratory comes in. In my lab, we do research that involves field-based sampling in Central America, particularly in the countries of Honduras and Nicaragua. We take that field-based sampling into the laboratory to produce an assessment of how unique a population may be and whether that population could be considered a new species. I think one area where researchers made a difference is in the indigenous Lenca territories of Honduras. And following about 15 years of field work and data collection, we collected evidence to suggest that we had 4 new species found just within that territory. Now the Lenca people are an indigenous group that lives in southwestern Honduras in the mountains. And they have a globally recognized history and effort to resist the extraction of resources and the exploitation of their land and their resources by outside forces. So it became very important for us not only to continue working with our partners in those territories, but to find a way to turn the sort of obscure scientific process of like describing a new species, how do we turn that into something that's actually relevant and useful to the folks in the territory where those species come from. And so to honor that fight and to sort of look towards, how can we apply this information on the ground, we chose scientific names that had not only scientific meaning, but also a strong cultural meaning and relevance. We wanted names that would be recognizable to the people in the areas where these species live. So as a way to kind of operationalize what historically I think has been a very sort of narrow and poorly understood field of taxonomy, and turn it into something that is alive and active for the people on the ground in the areas where we work. It's a humbling thing to think that any scientific work you do may impact people's lives in a positive way. And so it's certainly a motivation to try to do things to help expand our knowledge of a country that I think is very much overlooked, even in Central America, but also put that information right back into the hands of the people in the country who can do something valuable with it.